Hello, everyone, and welcome to this UBports Q&A. Today is January 6th, 2018.
Happy New
Uh,
Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. And as you might see, we are short of people today. It's just me and our wonderful German friend.
Hallo.
Yeah, hi. Uh, and then it's me, as I probably already said. And so, yeah, let's get started on this first of this year. Yeah, it's first of this year, and I think quite a lot has happening over Christmas. Some of you guys have seen it. Uh, if you're following the mostly what's his name? Proportion? Oh, I completely butcher your name now.
Popescu Soren.
Popescu. Okay, sorry if we completely butchered your name there. But if you have been following him, you have seen all the progress and all the nice video that he has been making. So really, thank you for that if you're watching. Um, and it's really nice to have someone that makes videos and tell the users about it uh, without me needing to do that myself. So that's really nice, and I really appreciate that. But yeah, if you're following him, you have seen there has been a lot of progress in Xenial. A huge amount of, I think, over 100 repositories has been touched and imported. Um, and built thanks to our new fancy build system that actually is pretty smooth. But we now have a desktop version that is developed co-par with the mobile version. So that will say that you use the same version. So use the same version on a phone as you do on a desktop, which
Of
is
Unity 8,
really cool.
that is, by the way.
Unity 8, that is. Well, not only Unity 8, Mir also, and all the stack below and all the components and see pretty much everything is the same. It's just uh, recompiled in a different architecture, and also it uses a different driver since Android uses Android driver. But yeah, um, so that's really cool. And the reason why we are doing this, the main reason for this is to be able to develop on Unity 8 and the whole stack without needing to do this on a phone. It's a lot easier to test things on a laptop or on a desktop in that way that you compile it locally and just run it locally. Um, Not every component can be done this way, but many of the components can be done this way, and that's why it's super nice to have the desktop. But at the plus side, we also have a desktop version which people can use, and I've been using mine as a daily driver on my laptop, for example. So it's not only for development. We also plan to go forward with this idea, but it starts slowly, and see it will grow into something more than just apt install, maybe ISOs. We don't know quite sure about that information yet, but a lot of information, a lot of things has gone into it, a lot of work. Wanted to add something on?
And no, I think you covered it.
Okay. Um, so we can should we do questions?
Probably a short update on Anbox and the whole
Oh,
stuff that's been going on there. Yeah, we were a little late with our installation instructions. We promised it last week, but we kind of hit a small blocker there because, of course, we don't want to release instructions that don't work properly. And in fact, we've been working on this until 5 minutes ago. um,
yeah.
but it is on the docs now. Oh no, it's not merged yet, but it will be on the docs like just after the show.
And also,
Um,
just to add to what you said, there was a blocker. This was not a software blocker. It was a personal blocker I had that going on in Christmas. So that's why it's late.
Yeah, you always have personal stuff over the holidays, so I guess that's natural. But now instructions are there for the Pro 5, and I think also for the M10 tablets. They will
Mhm.
be released very shortly. Um, yeah, so if you want to give that a try, it's only recommended for experienced users, and of course, it's not like daily driver ready, like by far not, because also it only works on Xenial, as we said, and Xenial is not daily driver ready, and Nbox is not daily driver ready, and Nbox on Xenial is not daily driver ready at all. But something is there, something works, and it's actually pretty cool.
Mhm. Yeah, I also have to say that many of the things are, if you install it like this, none of the containers are started by default as we wanted to have them. So that will say when you press on, there will be a desktop icon, or yeah, it's called a desktop icon. It will be like an app on your scope, but it will, when you press that, it will actually start the whole Android system. So that will take a while, probably 30 seconds before you actually see anything. So be aware that if you try it, the startup times on the and now the app is called Andbox. The apps are not integrated in the system as we want later on. Right now, it's just one app that is called Andbox that just starts the Andbox manager. I can actually just shortly show it off here actually. Um, so this is how it will look like. Just a normal white thingy icon that's called Unbox. When you press on it, it will use a little while before it starts up. It will be black like this because now it starts up the whole container and everything. It says Android is booting, and there you go. There you have your Android apps. We want to integrate this in the main menu also, but for now, this is how the development will be like, since they are not ready at all yet to actual any usage. And also be aware that um, when you're following the instructions, you will require a kernel change, and that kernel has not been completely tested. So you might run into random hiccups or random panics that can happen, because we do change a pretty a critical component called binder, the Android binder. Um, so that also, uh, you have to be aware of. We are working on a solution that we have two different binder, that where binder is there is one binder just for the system where we don't touch anything, and then we have our own Android and boxed binder, but that's technical and not finished yet.
Okay, awesome. Um, Another small piece of news is the Signal app that has been around for a while now is in active development again. A new maintainer came along. His name is Aaron Kimmich. I guess that's how you pronounce it. And yeah, he picked it up. You can find it in the Open Store now, and he fixed yeah, the most severe issues with the old TextDQ app. It's called Signal now, so you will find it on the Open Store. Thanks a lot also to the what are they called? Open Whisper Systems. The company, is it a company? I don't know. I think it's a company.
Yeah.
The legal entity behind Signal. They are open for collaboration with us, and so we probably will eventually even get push notifications there, but that's all not completely clear yet.
Yeah. Um, okay. Should we move on to questions then?
Yeah, I think we can move on.
Okay, so I can take one here. That's not necessarily not directly a question I got, but it is questions about unit and what's the difference between our Unity 8 and unit. And also they state here that unit had compatibility with Senior and Qt 5.9. Uh, so so our Unity 8 is not. They are not based at all. The code is not based of course, the Unity 8 code itself is based on them. Uh, it's based on the Unity 8 from Canonical, but it was forked from Canonical, so there is a split there now. The unit guys have been doing, I don't know what they've been doing, um, but our Unity 8 is made from the canonical branch and upwards, so they have nothing in common right there. And I also see that the question was if we use components from Unity unit, because they say that it was upgraded to Qt 5.9. When I checked, there was no source code or any binary package available for them. So I don't think they have done that groundwork yet, because that was quite heavy. It's quite heavy to make it up to Qt 5.9. Um, so no, there's no correlation there at all. They don't share the code except the canonical code. Um, so that's to answer that. We did have contact with Unit when they first got into the game, but right now they seem to mostly fade away. I don't know what's going on there. If there anyone from Unit, please contact us and we can work on this together. But right as I see it right now, Unit is more or less nothing is going on there.
Yeah, it's become a lot less active in the last months. Like the last commit on unit was in October. So
Oh no, not the commit. The commit was back in June, but
oh yeah, yeah, the
yeah,
last activity at all on GitHub, like the last issue or something.
yeah,
Um, yeah, the commits are even older. So we don't know exactly what's going on there. Of course, we are still open for collaboration, but so far the development there has not been um, that helpful for what we are doing. Of course, on the phones we are still using an older version of Unity 8 at the moment, and also Mia. And for the first 1604 release, that will probably be the same version, because yeah, Mario's famous quote: "Walk up the stairs, not jump up the stairs." So we won't change all the components in one update, but we will gradually work our way, yeah, up there. So for now, further Unity 8 development can be done on the desktop, as Marius explained in the beginning, and experimentally also on Xenio, but the first release will probably be still the old Unity 8 you know and love from 1504.
yeah. I think also I have to add to that that even though Senior might not get the newest Unity 8, the phone might not get any newest stable OTA. You can still install it from our repositories, so you can still test around with it. But since it is not stable at all, that's what I'm going with the walk up the stairs. We won't immediately try to make that stable because it is not.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. If you actually have users that use your product as a daily driver, you can't just break something.
Yeah. Um, I see more things going on with Unit here in in the super group. Um, and I just wanted to comment on the last thing about Unit in the LTS space, the blog post. Yes, I'm aware of this blog post, but there is no code or binary that is there. So even though they say that we can benefit from it, there is nothing there since September 18, and that's just a blog post, no code or anything. Do you have more, next question? Move away from unit things and Unity 8 things.
I don't see anything.
Let us check. Let us check the YouTube chat. See if there is anything here. Good evening, UBports rock. Thank you. We need more questions, guys. Roll the questions in. Last time we had so much question we couldn't handle. This time we need more.
We should have probably kept some of them.
Yeah, we should. Actually, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately, Dalton isn't here this time, so he's usually in charge of organizing all of this, and we are just a little too chaotic to do it ourselves, apparently.
Diago asks, how can we get UBports Unity 8 for desktop? There is a repository on GitHub that has all the install scripts that you can be able to do that on a serial base. I recommend not doing it on your daily driver, maybe in a VM or an old laptop you have, or even if you have two, just use one of them, since it is not stable and the packages do since we ship a newer version of Qt, it will also modify things. If you have KDE, for example, installed, something might go wrong. GNOME will work fine, but KDE might not like that you fuck around with the KDE stuff. So I will actually send that link in the link.
You just put in the description, I guess.
Yeah, the description, and I also will post it in the Telegram group right now. See more questions on no snap install for Unity 8. No, not yet. We haven't since snaps is not so easy to package with that, since we already have all the Debian packages and all that set up. We just use that for now, and later on we might do snap packaging. But right now it's easier to use that packages. That's what we are using on the phone to install things like this. So right now, no, maybe later.
Okay. Another question. There have been recent changes in kernel configurations, highlighted with snap and nbox support. So is there snap support coming in?
uh, Andreas, you're too quick. for the tablet and the Pro 5 and our core devices, yes.
So
There is
will we
coming
have
soon.
that in the first 1604 OTA or in the later?
I hope so. There's still some troubles with, we are still using Upstart, and Snapd doesn't really like Upstart. So I'm not 100% sure. Maybe. Hopefully. Uh, we need more questions, guys. I still don't understand unit. Uh, Wayne doesn't either understand unit. Okay, I said we wasn't going to talk more about it, but let me actually explain what the difference is. Okay, so unit was supposed. I'm not sure what it is now anymore. I don't, as I said, I don't know what the status of that is. But unit was a fork. A fork means a copy. It's a copy of the Unity 8 code under a different name. So right now, what they have done is copy Unity 8 and change the name, as far as I know. So at this moment, it's just Unity 8 with a different name. It's no more than that, I think.
Yeah, there are some questions here about whether it makes sense to have two projects essentially. Um,
Oh,
no, I
no.
guess, but it always comes down to the um, yeah, to them essentially. We of course would like more collaboration. We of course we need more developers working on Unity 8 or Unit. We're not set on the name, of course, but we have permission, I think, from Canonical to use the Unity 8 brand. That's what people know. Um,
Yeah.
so to distinguish between the Unity yeah, what we use and what they are using, we just call our version Unity 8. Um, yeah, of course we would
Yeah, I
like
think also,
to collaborate with them more, and of course we would like it if there was only one version. Um, but we cannot be um, just the downstream. That would not work for us because we're still behind. So we still have to work a lot on it, and if we were to give up the influence completely, that could easily become a problem.
and also I think one of the things you also need to say is that that unit hasn't been any progress since long time back, and we can't just sit and wait for something to happen.
Yeah,
Uh, we are going. UBports at this point is moving extremely fast, and that's why we can't just sit and wait. Since we already are going up to senior and we are doing all these sandbox things and all, everything is going, and that's why we can't
yeah,
just wait. So I think that's also a big reason.
yeah. I mean, nothing against downstream collaboration or upstream collaboration. Of course, we would be open to this, but since the desktop environment is such an important part of the phone, and if the desktop environment is continued to be developed as an outside project, um, the focus on the phone could easily get lost. And of course, we need Unity 8 to work great on the desktop as well, because convergence is one of our key selling points. But we can't have the upstream development break functionality we have on the phone. Of course, this is a non-issue because at the moment, Unit isn't really making any progress anyways. So it's not a problem, but yeah, we're also not really diverging because, well, actually, we are a little ahead in development there.
Yeah. Also, just to say, we are ahead of development. We are quite a lot ahead of development. We have Qt 5.9. We have Wayland support. We have improvements to Xmirror. So we have a lot of things that has been improving just this Christmas. So we are a leap year step, I think. Uh, Moving away from Unity 8 again. Let's go from the forum. We have a question here. Will someone work on GPS? You now and browser will lead to restart and makes therefore usage really hard. Also, the bad update and positions make navigation useless. GPS is a extremely hard topic. GPS is, I think, I would say one of the hardest things to do. Uh, but yes, a lot of improvements will be going on there. Also, when we move to Senior, there's already improvement from Canonical already existing there. Um, so yes, I really hope that we can improve this, and also with Halium coming along, we can also get improvements from the Halium side also. So yeah, GPS will be improved, but as I said, GPS is also a really hard target, so it will take time.
I'm not 100% sure about the latest status there, but I think someone was actually working on bringing an old fix that was never merged into the location service back to life and get it on the phones. I think that fixes some issues with the location being stuck and not updated. And yeah, essentially, It's not the highest priority on the list, of course, but I think something is in the works there.
Mm-hmm. Um, Next question. I was looking at the Qt browser on Linux. What are your thoughts on that for UBports? Do you like the idea? Yeah, I think what we are going for is use you can use whatever, and I think that's greatly improved in the newest Unity 8 version, where you can run every Qt application pretty much natively. That includes Copzilla and also the Qt browser. So yes, you can use that, but I think the question is more for the phone. I think our biggest issue there is that we still don't have mirror support in Qt Qt Web Engine. So when we get that, yes, we can use those kind of browsers. Right now, that browser would use Qt WebKit, but that's a really old framework, or not a really old browser. It's based on the old WebKit from Apple. So it wouldn't work that well as actually our Oxide works right now. Oxide is now based on Chromium 557, so that is quite up to date. But I think yes, I think also this is not something for us to decide. This is for what users want. We want to provide options, not limit them to one browser. They can use whatever browser they want. If they want to use the Ubuntu browser, that's fine. If they want to use a Qt browser, that's also fine. So yeah.
Yeah, but in the long run, we will have a default for web apps, for example, which they can use, and that will probably be Qt Web Engine. Um, at the Yeah, as Marius explained, there are no mere there's no mere integration yet, so we can't switch immediately. But for the moment, Oxide works just fine for this, and it does a good enough job. So, but we are looking for people to help us migrate from Oxide to Qt Web Engine. So if you want to help with that, I guess get in touch.
hmm I think there's not much missing from the Qt Web Engine. I think it's mostly just that it needs to. Last time I looked at it, um, it's it seems to just exclude mirror and just says mirror doesn't work. But I think what's missing there is a switch from, or a logic that says that this is, because now it just default to X11, and I think that's the biggest problem. It needs to be able to actually run without X11, just go directly to ELG. But this is complicated stuff. If you are interested, please get in contact and I can explain more what my findings currently are. Uh, but this is also not high priority, not yet at least, um, since we have a pretty up to date Ox Oxide. I think it's actually called Oxide. So even Oxide is more up to date than Qt Web Engine at this point, because the 5.9 Qt Web Engine is Chromium 56, I believe, and we have Oxide 50, Chromium 57. So we are at step ahead there.
Yeah.
Um, but that's just Chromium version. I would assume that the Qt one is a lot more development stable. Uh,
Okay.
Next.
New question. How about the fixes for Spectre and Meltdown vulnerabilities? Are our phones affected? So Meltdown is only affecting Intel CPUs, but Spectre, of course, yes, affects our phones as well. So Spectre has two attack vectors. One is native code execution, so compiled code, and one is JavaScript code in the browser. So JavaScript code is the bigger issue from our perspective, but it is not that big of a problem. So what you can do with JavaScript execution is read the entire memory of your process. But since every website runs in its own process, it is not that severe. So how can we fix this? Kernel patches, essentially. Those are not that easy for us because we can't just use any kernel on the device. We always have to use the kernel that comes with the Android version that is supported on the device. And patching it is especially difficult for for devices that don't have an open device tree, like some of our legacy devices, or most of our legacy devices, I think. For the others, we will have to see. We will also have to see what comes from the Lineage OS community there, because many of the actually end-of-life devices still get kernel patches from them, and they have a lot bigger workforce than we do. We'll of course fix it if we can, but if not, this is not a good argument, but keep in mind that there are a lot more devices with this unpatched. This is not a good argument, but
Yeah, none
that's
of
how
the
it is.
Android devices is patched.
Yeah,
None. There is no Android device in the world that is patched.
yeah,
And for us to patch it as little as we are, we simply can't do it because it's the patch is unbelievably big, and we are using such an old kernel on these devices, so it will be really hard to do that.
yeah,
The only thing we can do is actually update Chromium, and when there is I don't think there's a patch on Chromium just yet. You see, this is so new that big companies that Google haven't figured out yet. So when Chromium is patched, we can use that patch, of course, because that runs on top of our system. But the kernel, uh, but yeah, we have to wait and see what if Lineage OS has some patch for it. Yes, we can do it. But I don't believe that that patch from the Lineage community or in any of the communities at all will come anytime soon because this is so big, but it also the attack is not critical because it's so super hard to actually do the cracking itself. That the effort that someone would need to do is there wasn't a whole article about this uh, that the effort to actually do that would make it safe because it's not saying it's safe, but it's that it's so hard to do that no one would do that for normal phones. They would mostly do it for servers and think that things that matter. uh I think no one would be interesting to see your browser history, something like that. I
yeah.
think we need
And for the more severe attack vector, you would need native code execution anyways. So you would need an app in the open store essentially, or install that package, which is not that easy and is not that likely to happen. I know this is not very reassuring, but it's important to be realistic about this.
yeah, but as I said, there's none of the Android devices patches, none mobile devices that I know of.
Even Windows hasn't
uh
patched it.
yeah, Windows Phone is essentially dead. But
No, no,
uh,
no Windows. I think
oh
it
no,
comes
yeah,
Tuesday.
yeah. We need to even. I don't think the Ubuntu patch is out yet. Even is that not the
Mhm.
9th January?
Yeah,
So, and if you actually see the patch log there, you would understand what I mean with it's impossible for us to do that. They have one kernel for all the desktops. We have one kernel for each damn device.
yeah,
So it's if I would to patch that, I would probably just do that for the rest of the year. We need to be realistic and actually see that this is so super hard to do. Uh, and yeah, I think we gone over this already. But also to say that Meltdown is only for Intel, is none of our devices are affected by that. It's only Spectra, and that one is also extremely hard to actually crack anything on
Yeah.
it. So yeah, let's continue. Uh, Question: will there be a desktop version on distro? I already kind of hinted to this. Right now, we don't know. Hopefully there will. We we really want to see that. But it also depends on how much work it is to actually get that up and running. If anyone has experience with ISO building and desktop, yeah, mostly ISO building and building desktop installations, please get in contact. Maybe you can help out with that. But right now, we are not 100% sure we want to do this. But for now, it's nothing stable just yet, so it's probably better to just have it as an apt install. That way uh, we can constantly update that without needing to update an ISO and etc. etc.
Yeah.
Will you answer the questions on the forum? Sure. Let's do that. And sorry for the unorganized setup today. We are missing our lovely Dalton. He is the one that always have control over us. Without him, we have no control whatsoever. No, we have some control. But praise Dalton and wish Dalton a better well-being. How do you say get better, get well better,
Yeah.
something like that.
Okay, we have another question from the live chat. How well can Nbox be integrated? Can it control Wi-Fi, or is that not possible since it's in a container?
Uh, it right now, no. It's a container. It doesn't even know that it's running on Wi-Fi. It just sees that there is internet. I have network. That's all Nbox know. We probably won't have that integration because we want that level of security where none of the Android things know that there is Wi-Fi. They can't know the Wi-Fi name. They can't scan Wi-Fi things. I think that's the way we want to keep it. There's no really usage for the Android apps being able to see Wi-Fi at all. Uh, so but that also goes for the other things like Bluetooth and also Bluetooth is a different story since we maybe want to expose Bluetooth devices, but we also want to be careful there that none of the Android apps actually can do scanning and those kind of stuff without you knowing it.
Yeah.
So that's we really want to have integration as best as we can, but all of it will be with security in mind. None of the Android apps will have no clue what's going on your system, and that's what we are going for. We are going for a more secure Android app than running on Android. Uh,
Yeah.
so
We will probably be able to make a lot of deeper integration work over time. But always, as Mario said, with security in mind. So we'll always ask you, um, can I have deeper Bluetooth access and so on. But for now, for the first releases, it won't be there because it needs work. But of course, we can add more and more compatibility layers so the container can talk to the host.
uh, let me actually go to the forum uh, to check for some questions. Mm,
Is Halium used in 1604 images? Will Halium enable more phones being able to run UBports?
no, Helium at this moment. Halium is used on some devices, but none of the existing devices right now are running Halium. That will all mostly be for newer devices, like the OnePlus 3 is running Halium with and with Ubuntu Touch on top. But there are existing devices right now. No, they don't run Halium. But they kinda do at the same time, since the Halium is a fork of the UBports 3. So it's kinda Halium. It's kinda similar, but it's still not Halium.
Yeah, Dalton is doing a lot of work at the moment to get Ubuntu Touch to boot on vanilla Halium. But since he's not here today, I can't really answer it. It's not. It is on the roadmap to get that working, so you can just have Halium and slap Ubuntu Touch on it without any extra work. But it's not there yet.
Okay, so a question from the forum. Uh, he it's about X11 apps, and like LibreOffice and GIMP. For the next up, will this be solved? Yes, we want to do more X11 apps on Xenial. Xenial will also make this a lot easier to do, since we have updated components that actually runs this. We have the updated Xmere version, which works a lot better. Um, so yes, we really want to have make this easier as it was now. It's the Libertine stuff is kind of not user friendly. So we want to make this better, but maybe not in the first Xenial release. But that's something we are working against, not against, working towards to have that simple. And also in the same post, he asked, "Will Andbox be available for the BQ M10?" Yes. Uh,
In fact, as
yep.
one of the first devices, probably. Again, we've been working on this until like 5 minutes before we started the live stream. So the instructions for the M10 will probably come very soon.
Well, yeah. To make that clear, we didn't work on Andbox before that. We make an extra instruction because
Yeah, yeah,
Andbox doesn't take quite a lot of time to do.
yeah. But of course, we want the instructions to be solid, so nobody, no inexperienced user tries to go through them and misunderstands something and then soft bricks their device. Of course, that's easy to fix for a more experienced user, but yeah, the average person will probably freak out if their device starts to boot loop or something. So we want to have it a little more solid at least.
Yeah. You want to take the next question from the forum?
Sure. So can you read it out? I can't find it at the moment.
What? You can't find what?
Can you read it out? I can't find it at the moment.
Yeah, I can do. There's
I have one on the live chat if you want.
yeah, take that while I look through here.
Okay. Are you happy with the project overall? What's your biggest bugbear? Bugbear? I don't know. I guess what's your biggest problem at the moment? I would say yes. We are getting better constantly, I think, at organizing ourselves. We had problems with this in the past because the project grew so explosively just in the first days already. So where we converted from being just a small porting community to being the maintainer of the whole operating system, and with hundreds of people coming in one day and saying, okay, how can I help the project? What can I do? Where's the documentation? Where's the code? How can I download? How can I install? And so on. We made a lot of progress there. We made a lot of progress with the organizational part. We made a lot of progress with the foundation, with the paperwork being filed now and waiting for approval. We made a lot of progress with documentation as well. We host all the important documentation ourselves now. So we took over the infrastructure from Canonical, which we are of course grateful for, that they kept it alive this long. Like, I think they just shut the last services down a couple of days ago. Yeah, so I think we can be happy with it. We've seen a lot of support from the community. Also financially, we see for the size of the project, really a very a lot of donations as well. So and a lot of contributions from the community, or even some former Canonical employees joined us and now help the project in their free time, which we are very grateful for. So I think in general it's going well.
I think we just want to add to that. I'm also really happy on how the project is going, and for me, it's kind of unbelievable how fast it has been going. But at the same time, um, I'm extremely grateful for what we have here and such an amazing community around us,
Yeah,
and also amazing development going on. There's so much exciting things that it just yeah, sometimes I just jump around on my chair because s- stuff is new, stuff is happening, and there's conversion and all these things that's going on, and it's amazing. It's
yeah,
truly amazing.
definitely. Okay, so you had a question on the forums?
Uh, uh, yes. Uh, is UBports present planet for Frostium? Sadly, not. We didn't get accepted into to any of our talks. So that's a bit a bummer. Uh, but we hope that someone from our community will be there. I'm not sure if I will be there. I'm not sure. Will you be there, Jan?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
It's not at a good time for me. I wanted to come originally because we also proposed to set up a stand there, but for some, I think it's very short on space this year. And since I don't have to be there this time, of course I would love to go, but it's not a good time for me, so I won't be there sadly.
Okay. I think that's covered. And yeah, me, I might maybe be there. I'm not 100% sure. Past developed mention experimental channels. Yes, I think we don't call it experimental channels anymore. We have moved that over to community channels, what we would like to call them, where the community can come along and make their own ports and use our infrastructure to deliver those ports. So yes, that's still planned. There's still work going on that, but it's going slowly because there's so much else going on at the same time. But hopefully that will be up pretty soon. We want to make that a really good option for anyone that wants to port or even deliver something special. Like for example, if someone wants to port Andbox to some of the other devices that's not supported, they can also use a community channel to deliver that uh, in a more easier way than fast boot commands and hacky works around. Uh, 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 I think I'm not sure if we are losing Jan or
No, I'm
what
still
is.
there.
Oh, you're just hammering away then.
I'm what?
Sounds like someone is hammering.
Okay, sorry.
Never mind. Uh, uh, Do you know if there are any coordinating effort to get apps from the Ubuntu store into the open store? Right now, um, there was a lot of apps that actually was moved in from the Ubuntu store into the open store. Now the Christmas, we have our Christmas apps uh, gifts that we have been doing, and some of the apps have been imported. But yes, there are still many apps, and no, there is no coordinated effort to actually move them over. We mostly want the maintainer to move them over themselves, since moving it over uh, still required, since it's not all of them are open source. We can't move all of them, but maybe the most popular we can move over. But we also don't want to have the open store just full of unmaintained apps. That's also not the greatest thing.
Yeah, we decided against moving all of the open source ones because there's a lot of very, very old ones that use the first iteration of the UI toolkit, and of course a lot of web apps which do not even have like special controls added, which are just the container for the website, and we don't need to flood the open store completely with this. So we decided against it.
Yeah. Uh, that was it for the forums. Um, let's see. There's a question on the live chat. Would you consider going purism route and kickstart on a Ubuntu phone? Hopefully, something will be completely for starters. Right now, no, there's no plan for that. We don't have any plans at all for that. Since I think that the biggest reason is that we want to focus on getting our uh, let's say our software up to par and up to date, where actually the development is up to Signal, and we want to get it more user friendly before we actually try to make a product out of it. uh, I think right now it wouldn't be the best fit to make our own product. First of all, because we are such a small team that we for us to do that at the same time would take up a lot of our time to actually development. Uh, but this is still not sure. It's still open for it. But right now, there's no plans. No.
And of course, you can grow the team if you have more financial yeah options, if you have more funding, and a project like this would of course generate funding, but you also always have to keep in mind to grow in a healthy way, because if you have like 2 million immediately, it's not that easy. You can't solve any problem by just throwing money at it, and also creating a phone is hard. It's very hard. It will also not be easy for purism. Of course, we are watching their effort with yeah, great interest, and if they actually succeed doing this, it will probably be not that difficult to get Ubuntu Touch running on this device as well, which would be awesome, of course. But for now, I think we have more pressing tasks, like get the software in line that we have at the moment.
I think it also goes to the other saying is that we are software development, not hardware developers. Hardware is extremely hard, so we would we would need a lot of help with doing this. At this moment, we don't have the resources to actually do it. Even though a Kickstarter would generate money, uh, money is not everything. You can't just throw money at something and it will work. We want
Yeah,
if we want something like this, we will like a product that's quality. We don't want something that's thrown together, and most Kickstarters are kind of hacked together at some point. We don't want that. We don't want a product that's made by a startup that made something once and then died. I think that's what the trend is going with Kickstarter at this moment. Uh,
exactly. That would not help the community. That would just frustrate
Yeah,
everyone more. So um, of course we are watching the purism effort with great interest. But $2 million is also not a lot to create a phone, even though it's a lot of money. But um, there's a reason why Canonical had, when they launched their Ubuntu Edge campaign, while they had such a gigantic goal, like I think 30 million, 37
yeah,
million, I think it was. And I
32.
think they raised 12,
Yep.
12 million or something. Um, and they still said, okay, no, this is not a lot, not enough. We can't do it with this amount, at least not in the way they originally planned. Um, yeah, so for now, no hardware project planned.
I think yeah, 2 millions will probably cover normal Android phones off the shelf from a ODM. That will probably be plenty, but that's not what the Purism are trying to do. They're trying to build a new phone that's not. There's no. You can't go to China and get someone to build that. You have to throw. You have to design it yourself, or pay someone to design the phone. You can't buy an ODM phone. ODM phone is just a phone that's designed by someone else. They sell it with your branding, and that also costs a lot of money. But at the same time, they also want to have software. Uh, if you just see the million that Google put into, and also Canonical put into Ubuntu Touch, I think uh, 2 million is. I really hope. I really hope because it's an amazing phone. But I think I'm skeptical.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that it's not going to work necessarily for purism, but it means it won't be easy for them, and it's not the right step for us because it would um, our the rest of our development would necessarily grind to a halt, and we don't want that.
Hmm. We have 2 minutes left. I can take the last one here from the YouTube live chat. Live chat. Will there be a Unity 8 desktop interest from UBports? I think I already answered this. It really depends on how hard it will be. Because we haven't done ISO building or installation ISO building. Since it's not you need the installation part of it. It's easy to make an rootfs, but when you're going to have an installation, then that's need testing and all that. It's easier to just use for now to have, if you just download a standard Ubuntu 16.04 and then put a Unity 8 on top of that, then the installation would work anyhow. But the installation, when I talk about the installation, I talk about the installation that happens when you install the ISO. I think that's the hardest thing. But as I said before, if someone has experience with this and want to help out, please come in contact, and we can get you the infrastructure you need to do that, and deliver ISOs from our infrastructure. That would be completely awesome.
Okay,
And we are out of time.
do we take
Uh,
one final question?
yeah, sure.
Just a small one. What about UMatrix? Your development version had
Ooh.
voice and video calls. What's up with that?
What's up with that? It's mostly time that has been been lacking. I think. Um, I have a lot of time, but the time has been gone invested in different parts. Yes, I really plan to get back to the Mario grip test, as you called. But for now, um, I don't know. This project is kind of because I do this outside of the UBports my UBports work time. So these are kind of when I've when I'm bored one day, I probably can do it. But I don't know. Maybe if someone pushes on me, I shouldn't say this. If someone pings me every day, I might do it. No, no, don't do that. I will block you, Wayne. I know you will do this. I know you're out there, Wayne. Okay, enough kidding around. Um, but I will take one last question. If you wanted to be a tree, what tree would you like to be? This is the first in
This again.
2018. Yeah, first in 2018.
That is a good question. I think I would. I think I would be a balanced binary tree.
Bellest binary tree. Okay. Uh, okay, me then. I think it will just be it's Christmas pine tree. Why not? I want
Okay.
to have a lot of prickles. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
I don't think that's what it's called.
No, what's so called that those things that always fall to the ground when you take the damn Christmas tree out?
Oh, needles.
Yeah, well, it's not a needle.
I
Well,
don't
okay,
know.
you can call it needle.
Okay, let's wrap
They
it up.
hurt like hell.
It got a little off topic.
Okay, thank you, needles. Thank you, Wayne, out there. And we in here will sign out. Bye.